Hi, Angie here from Crafts at Home. Welcome to this video series where I'll be featuring the outer quilting from Shape Artworks. Hopefully you will have completed your first 10 blocks and have them stored ironed and flat ready for joining in this issue. With this issue you'll be receiving the white fabric and adding all of the sashing onto your first 10 blocks. Before you begin, iron all of your fabric so it's nice and flat, and it will make it easier to work with and improve the overall finish of your quilt. Let's start marking and cutting. So as you can see, I've folded my fabric over, so I've now got 4 layers all in one. The thing with this is I'm going to make sure that I move my mat each time so the fabric stays still. So to start with, I'm going to go down this first seam. This way I actually cut 4 in one pass. If you're not confident, then you could do it just with a double fold, or you could do it as single. It all depends on what your confidence is. Now with this, where I actually only need 10 squares, I'm making 12, but I'll keep 2 for later issues. And then I've got this strip here, which I can use for binding as well for later issues. So that's those seams cut. And just turn around the whole board. Just make sure that you're not moving your fabric each time and distorting it so they all turn out the same. Just put that up against the line. A nice, quick and easy way of making sure that you make multiple cuts at the same time. And when you get to here, you want to remove that piece so you don't cut through it with these two. And that's all the cuts you need if you're doing it the same way. So we've got that fabric spare that I took out of there. Just have a look now, and we'll also have that for extras as well. And don't forget, you got 2 squares of your B template extra, so that will all go nicely away until we next need it, which will be issue 21. Just going to put these away and I'll see you in a moment. So I'm going to be showing you with the sailboat square how to put your side pieces on. Now with every one of your squares that you're going to put the batting onto, you're going to be working on the left hand side and the bottom edge. It's going to be exactly the same for all of them, so I'm actually prepping all of mine together, chain stitching all of them together, ironing together and doing all 10 blocks at the same time. So the first thing to do is fold over that piece and this piece here. I'm going to start with this bottom piece, and all you're going to do, match those 2 edges together and pop 2 pins in. make sure that everything's neatly matched up. That's that piece there. Now with this one, you want to make sure that you're matching on the bottom. If you've got a little bit of extra or less at the top, it doesn't matter so much, but it's this bottom edge that we want to concentrate on. Also with all of them, I'm going to be sewing with the white down and the block up, so I can actually see what I'm doing with my seams as I sew. So I'm going to match all the seams up. It's also an idea if you need to do any trimming on your blocks to do it before you add your pieces on. I'm going to take that back a little bit so it's a bit more even on the block. Pop a pin in and work from that edge, making sure you're nice and straight, pinning down any seams that you need to as you go. Do it again here. That's quite a lot there, so I'm going to step it out and do it at the base there, so it's a few less layers of fabric to go through. Go up to the top. And so I'm going to be doing this for all 10 blocks, so I can just chain piece them all together and it's a lot less hassle. And there we are. So I'm going to be sewing those two edges together, and I'll see you over at the sewing machine in a moment. So I'm going to start by sewing along the seam here on the cell block. As you can see, I've pinned it all down ready, which we did in the last part. Now I'm going to sew this way so I can make sure that any seams that I come across are lying perfectly flat, and because I've got one straight section underneath, I don't have to worry about that side. So as usual, just butt it up to the seam and start sewing. Take your first pin out. Once I finish that piece, I'm going to pop the bottom piece and the square in and chain piece them together. And snip them apart. So now we've got that sewn, I've just double checked that the point of the sail ship is on your seam. I'm going to pop over to the ironing board, iron these open, and I'll see you there in a moment. So I've now got these two seams sewn up and we're going to iron them open. So for your main block, you want to iron to the white. So as usual, we set the seam and then iron open. And then if you take the bottom strip and put that rectangle on the top, so the square's on the bottom. Do this for every one of your 10 blocks and your 10 strips as well. I'm only showing you with the one, but you need to follow so they all lie properly. And I'm going to take my block, put the bottom strip on and fold it up. Now because of the way that you've gone and done your seams here, you actually got a nestling seam. So as we have done with previous issues, just make sure that those seams nest in nicely. If you need to, just open up and check. And pop a pin on the seam. Then go to your ends and pin again. Just lie that nice and flat and pin along the edge. So I'm going to pop and sew along this seam here, and I'll see you back in a moment. So I've gone and sewn along this final seam now, and you want to iron open. So you have your white fabric on top, set your seam nice and flat, and then iron open. And there we go, that is how to add sashing onto all of your blocks. I've already gone and done the other 9, as you can see. So each of the sashing goes along the bottom and up the left hand side of the block. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video and adding the sashing onto all the blocks that we've created so far. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you'll be notified of our new videos. Further information about crafts at home, the art of quilting and hache artworks can be found on the social media pages which are listed in the description. Don't forget to join us next week for issue 12, where we'll be making the windmill sails block. Bye for now.